Well, tonight we have the pleasure of having Jenn give her speech, Granny Ethel, Beyond a Family Legend. Jenn? Can I just take a moment to say what you're going to do with Project 4?
Of course. Well, what the expectation was. We'll see what I'll do. Right?
Emphasizing word choice and arrangement, clear, accurate, descriptive, or short words used to communicate your ideas. I think I've just lost my mind. So, take it away.
I can just hear her voice right now. Intelligent, but exceedingly feigning gullibility. To feign means to represent fictitiously or to pretend. Oh, really? She'd say. My grandmother, Ethel Senny Wells, as an adult, would frequently feign ignorance while actually knowing so much more than she ever let on. I can hear her saying often that word, really. She'd say, even when she knew the topic quite well, what was going on. Like, yes, Granny, my brother Mike's in junior high. Or, yes, Mike plays soccer. About 32 adjectives will begin to describe my great-grandmother, or my grandmother, Ethel Senny Wells, who died just 2 weeks ago on October 1st. She was born January 8th. She shares the same birthday as my youngest daughter, Jewel, a real blessing. She was born in Topeka, Kansas, and lived most of her working and childbearing life in Boise, Idaho. Retired early, at the ripe young age of 65, started living again. She married 3 times, divorced 2 husbands, lost her third to an early death, and shared many more years with at least 3 more long-term partners or boyfriends, many of whom I got to know well. She won statewide awards of recognition for her generous work helping adults with mental illness find meaningful employment back in the 1970s. I believe she left this world on an auspicious day when the government chose to shut down, with a nice peaceful exit, surrounded by her youngest son and my father and their 2 wives. My Granny Ethel shares the same birthday as my daughter Jewel. And my hope for you, after hearing more about this woman and my memories of her, is that you have a sense that you've met her, or maybe even know this amazing woman, and that this legendary lady indeed sparks in you a zest and a love for life that she's done for so many people. She really is. She would cry easily, so I just demonstrate that. So I'm also hoping to filter some of the most salient memories, so that you may know me a little bit better. So it's worth pointing out that my real-time face-to-face contact with her mainly happened when I was a child and a young adult, during family vacations or short visits. And I mostly know her, though, only for the second half of her life. But there's so many family stories that embrace a much broader time. And my memories of her inspire how I want to carry on family strengths, values, and the love of life. So here's some words, themes, and stories that portray who Ethel Senny Wells was, is, and will continue to be. as I have tears, humorous, hilarious and fun-loving, with a hearty, high-pitched laugh to show it, hardworking, a single mother in the 1950s, 60s, 40s, healthy, noted by recipes I've hawked, such as cardamom bread, homemade chicken soup, and fried. Ambitious, noticed by her forever athletic pursuits, including taking on tennis as a retiree. She was sweet-toothed, as noted in my healthy comment earlier, reminding us that health is all about balance. My sister-in-law shared how last summer Granny Ethel eagerly accepted a third of a box of vegan chocolates after asking what they were. Oh, yeah, I'd like some of that. Spiritual, noted by her shelves and drawers of overflowing with self-help books. She still does, in my mind, model contentment. When she just sit and take in the beauty of nature for people around her. Or surround herself with decorations of photos and crafts from her previous trips to art fairs, each of which carries stories. Sun Valley, Idaho, her home for the last 30 years, is so beautiful. I can still hear her saying now, it's so beautiful. As if it was practically an axiom that she'd say countless times during each visitor talk year after year. She stated when the Dalai Lama visited the town of Sun Valley 10 years ago that she could feel a peace emerging through the entire valley. She was determined, she was energetic, dogmatic to win senior tennis national championships, travel Europe. She was twinkly. She was also conniving, cruel, and bitter at times. As portrayed in a comment to my now sister-in-law when they first met, when she was saying that she couldn't keep up with my brother on skis. Why don't you find a boyfriend who you can keep up with? She was loving, ultimately optimistic, encouraging to her 5 grandkids, including myself. She was forgetful, but never forgotten. Poignant, attentive to beauty, both natural beauty and cosmetic. She wore lipstick and weathered one facelift. She also shined her clear blue eyes that take on the color of mountain lakes and streams. She loved to dance, socialize, and try new adventures. On her 95th birthday, she went out to Thai food. In 1995, she visited me when I was teaching in Eastern Europe with my brother and my father. And much to my father's frustration and disgruntlement, was often mistaken for his wife. Smells that conjure up when I think of her and when I speak about Granny Ethel are those of tennis balls, tennis gear, wet dog, chicken soup, and eucalyptus lotion. I asked some family members to help me remember and portray her essence in this talk and preparation. My father responded with some important examples and salient points. He wrote, she was always aware she was good looking and liked to recall events. Examples he provided included her saying, I didn't know I was elected Kansas University Queen. I didn't even know I was a candidate until someone told me congratulations. She said as a child growing up during the Depression that it was the time of her life to play kick the can with kids on the streets with ample time and little to worry about. Another example that my dad provided was that she liked to show up at family events with her huge, oversized, 110-pound, puppy dog eyes, Burmese mountain dog named Stanley. We speculate that she liked the visual contrast between a relatively petite 5-foot woman and her 7-foot wide, burly, big hot best friend dog. My dad reminded me, although we family members enjoyed calling her Granny, that she did not like it being called that, especially while playing tennis with her friends. Only in family settings was it okay. She was a bit competitive, yet my Granny Ethel's actions in essence were generous, forgiving, kind-hearted, and naively bold. Who else do you know who took in 3 difficult teenagers? My father asked rhetorically. One who I never knew of until 2 weeks ago, in the 60s when my father was off in college, my 2 cousins, and another senior skier from Boise, Idaho, who needed a place to train for the Olympics one year. She was playfully deceiving, self-conscious of images that she wished to portray. Like her mother, my great-grandmother, Onstead, my Granny Ethel also tried to hide her actual age until she was well into her 90s. They both dyed their hair, their whole life, adult life. Granny picked up tennis after retirement, became nationally ranked at age 80. She and her 3rd husband could return any shot which they returned soft down the middle, and finally the opponents would lose the point in desperation. These are my father's words. When they would keep trying to hit the ball along the edges until finally they'd get out of bounds. According to my father, her 2nd son and 3 sons, friends hated to play doubles against them. Her greatest victory was a match against a former Wimbledon champion. The opponent won the first set 6-0, was ahead in the 2nd set 5-0, and then was too exhausted to continue and had to withdraw. My father and I agreed that Granny loved tooling around in her Jeep Patriot. She enjoyed going to get a latte and order a salad at the local Ketchum lunch hangout called Harry's. She lived fully, she loved fully too, and she'll continue to be loved and inspire those of us whose lives she touched. Her legend is one in which I feel proud, a legend into which I feel lucky to have been born. And from here, moving forward, I hope to carry on and spread and live by example a few, but not all, of her greatest attributes and strengths.